Our distinguished guest for this evening is His Excellency Kamil Abdul Rahim, Egyptian Ambassador to the United States.
Mr. Ambassador, our viewers are tremendously interested in the great political struggle now going on in the Middle East. And you, sir, with your long and distinguished career in the Egyptian diplomatic service, are particularly well qualified to give us some authoritative information. Now, first of all, sir, your country and Britain have just reached an important agreement over that great area called the Sudan. It's about a third the size of the United States. Now, sir, will you tell our viewers first just what the significance of this agreement is over the Sudan?
This agreement on the Sudan is one of the most important events and one of the, perhaps the only happy news that we have received for a long, long time in the Middle East.
What does Egypt gain out of the agreement?
Well, we gain only solving a long-standing problem. Sudanese have been given the right to self-determination, either to unite with Egypt or to be independent.
In other words, in about 3 or 4 years from now, the Sudanese, that's a third the size of the United States, that great area will choose to be either independent or to become a part of Egypt. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, in 3 years they will have full self-government and they will be either choose to be independent.
Now, has this agreement eased the tensions between the West and Egypt? Has it made Egypt perhaps friendlier toward Britain and the United States?
I think it has eased the conditions tremendously, and it's not only that, but I think it paved the way for a final and a final solution for the Suez problem.
If the Sudanese do decide after this 3-year period to become independent, what does it mean economically in a loss to Egypt? Does it mean some economic loss?
Not at all. There is no economic loss at all, except we only united with the Sudan by the River Nile, which is the life giver of both countries.
Well, does it mean any loss to the British economically? Because the British get quite a good deal of cotton from the Sudan, I understand.
Well, they get the cotton everywhere now, from the United States, from Peru, from everywhere, and no more now. There's a great shortage of cotton. We want to sell our cotton, but we find some difficulty.
What would be the reaction in Egypt if, after this 3-year period, the Sudanese decided to join up with the British?
Well, I really don't know if they're going to do that. I think this is a very academic question, and the British themselves, they do not feel as the Sudanese is going to join the Commonwealth.
No, but they have the right to do that if they want to.
Well, if they are independent.
Well, sir, now that you've gotten over this first hurdle, the Sudanese hurdle, this week you began conversations with the British over that thorny problem of British troops leaving the Suez, and of course Britain has about 50,000 troops there. Now your country wants those 50,000 British troops to leave, doesn't it?
Well, surely, because these troops have been in Egypt since 1882, and they came by force, and they still remain there in the Suez Canal.
When do your negotiations start for...
well, we're hoping to negotiate very soon, perhaps this week. We hope so.
Do you think that the agreement, would you make any predictions as to how it might come out, that the agreement will be that the British troops will leave the Suez?
Agreement on the Suez Canal is negotiated on the same spirit that we negotiated the Sudanese question, I have great hopes and I'm very optimistic of the result.
Well, you want the British to leave, and then does Egypt want to take over, assume the sole responsibility for the protection of the Suez area?
Of course, we are ready to assume the sole responsibility for the Suez area. We have an army of 100,000. We need some equipment. With this equipment, we could be ready to defend our country. And I can assure you, the country can and defend its territory better than any other foreigners.
Do you plan to expand your military power in Egypt?
Well, this is limited to our possibilities of budget and so forth, but you know, our population is 21 million inhabitants. We could raise up to 1 million soldiers.